Hello, John Murphy here, retired deputy fire chief and attorney at law, and making a series of small sound bites related to my class at FDIC entitled Changing the Fire Service One Lawsuit at a Time. And one of the questions is what's the challenges facing our industry today? And if you can take a look at it from a lawyer's side, certainly it's the amount of litigation that goes on in the fire service dealing with personnel issues. So we're taking a look at discrimination, harassment, workplace retaliation, pranks, and the sort of the rite of passage to get into the industry has created numerous lawsuits against individuals participating in that sort of behavior and the employer as well. So as we speak on an annual basis and we write on a periodic basis and we do podcasts, we try to get to a point where firefighters, fire officers, management, staff are all realizing that, if we just follow our policies and don't conduct ourselves in a manner that creates a discriminatory, retaliatory, or harassing environment, we can focus on things that are very important to your community, like fire safety and fire suppression and EMS and those sorts of things that are sort of the bread and butter of our industry. So the challenges facing our industry today on the law side is apparently people aren't paying attention to what the lawyers are telling them. And so we're going to continue to have these lawsuits that distract from the actual mission of the fire service. So let's create good policies, let's follow the law, and let's be safe. My session will essentially look at 4 different areas of legal practice and laws affecting the fire service, trying to prevent these sort of large award discrimination claims. And the first section is employment and discrimination law. So we'll take a look at some older case law. It's not like, case law just popped out of the woodwork the last 10 years. It's been going on since there were judges and courts and lawyers, back in Abraham Lincoln's time. So it is trying to move the goalposts forward to try and improve working conditions for your firefighters, trying to prevent harassment to sort of a minority component of your industry, which are women and people of color, and people have different beliefs. And we'll talk a lot about those differences in my session. The second one is emergency vehicle operations liability. And for some odd reason, lately we've been seeing an increase in motor vehicle accidents with civilian fatalities, firefighter fatalities, and much of it has to do with just paying attention to the law as it deals with speeds, understanding the size and mechanism of the apparatus that you're driving. And the question that usually gets people all up in their in turmoil is, do we have to actually go in excess of the speed limits to get safely to the scene of the emergency? And so from my perspective as a chief officer, my answer is no. From my perspective as a lawyer, my answer is no. Our job is to get there without creating the chaos. The third sort of leg of the stool here is I'm going to be talking about EMS liability and patient care issues. There's, a number of cases that I work on that deals with patient care liability, abandonment, expired drugs, qualifications, and those sort of things that create, I think, additional liability. And especially when EMS is approximately 80% of what we do every day, we need to be pretty up on the latest protocols, stay on top of the research that looks at EMS delivery and all of the new things that are coming out technology-wise and education-wise. So we're less likely to harm a patient. And so we'll talk a lot about that. And then the last one is my favorite one, is the training and the negligence issues that go on. I've done a class before on training officer liabilities, and they're out there. Like, we don't do things correctly. We're not following the NFPA standards. We allow our firefighters to get injured and killed in a training event. And so the liability that we're going to talk about during this session will address all of those particular issues. So hope to see you in FDIC in April. I encourage you to attend my session. Take a look at the schedule when you get there. It's a law class, so we're going to be learning a lot about the law. Some of it has to do with early law that changed to personnel issues, safety issues, driving liabilities, all the things that we do in our service to deliver care to our community. There's a lot of changing technology today. There's a lot of increase in training requirements. We have to spend, extra time in making sure we bring on qualified individuals into our service, and that when they're in there, they're well trained. And so it avoids legal liability. It avoids terminations. It avoids the avoidable, I guess, if we only know about it. And so the class here is going to focus on 4 different areas. One is employment and discrimination law. The second one is emergency vehicle operators liability, talking about driver training, recertification, those sorts of things. Now we're going to talk about 80% of what we do, EMS and patient care liability. And we still have a tendency to either leave patients at home or harm them en route, or our treatment modalities are outdated. So we're going to talk a lot about that. And then the liability of basically treating a patient. There's a couple of great cases out there. Unfortunately, there's a death as a result of that, where EMS basically was influenced by other public safety officers and administered drugs to a patient who was already compromised. And so we'll talk about that and how to avoid those liabilities. And then we're going to talk about training and negligence. So this is a training event. FDIC is the world's greatest training event that I think I've ever attended or instructed at. And I've instructed at others, and not to sort of diminish their importance on the world. But, when you can garner 45,000 firefighters from all over the United States and the world, you got something going here. So I think that I'd like to see you in my class. We'll talk about law and legal issues. We'll talk about case law starting many years ago, and how those case laws got us to this point, and why we're reinforcing old case law, and unfortunately bolstering it with new case law, with easily avoidable mistakes that I think that you'll pick up when you attend my class. So I hope to see you in my class at FDIC 2026.